Muhammad's slaves. He made them dance. He forced them to give him sexual pleasure by threatening them with the sword. And after he had used them, he would throw them out into the street. Women had become a toy for Muhammad. He didn't value or respect them. For him, women were to be used and then thrown out. That is what he taught all of the men who followed him. For that reason, even today in the Islamic world, women don't have the same rights or respect as men. Thanks to Muhammad, today in the Islamic world, women are subjected to discrimination and tortured by men. Muhammad liked to play with women for a little while, and then he would treat them like slaves. With those whom he liked to spend a lot of time with, he would threaten to kill them if they didn't agree to marry him. In the following years, he married several times, divorcing the ones he was no longer interested in so that he could marry others. The Quran and history tells us that Muhammad was married 11 times. But according to the signs and indications, Muhammad was married many more times. Even on some occasions, he had been married several times within a week or even a month. Some people even dared to question him about his sexual and marital activities. But there is a saying, every dog has its day, which means that there is always a moment in life when everything goes very well. This saying can be perfectly applied to Muhammad. He knew how to justify his horrible actions and evil activities. Islam served as a shield for him. Each time that he married another woman, he would say that it was Allah's wish, and that Allah had commanded him to marry that woman. When he mentioned the name of Allah, no one dared to question him. On top of that, he added another false message in the Quran. Man can be married to 4 women at a time. This was another way to legalize his sexual activities. Besides his first wife, Khadija, in the following years, Muhammad married the following women. Second, Sauda bint Zama. Third, Aisha. She was the third and most questionable wife of Muhammad, daughter of his best friend Abu Bakr, a 6-year-old minor girl who was engaged to a young fellow, Jubair ibn Mut'im. But like always, Muhammad's sexual desires were awoken, and he devised a trick to get this girl, breaking off the commitment that had been made between these two young people. Muhammad was 52 years old when he married this minor girl. Fourth, Hafsa bint Umar. Fifth, Salama Hind. Sixth, Zainab bint Khuzaima. She was a Jew whose father, husband, and uncle were all assassinated by Muhammad's Islamic army. 7. Zainab bint Jahsh. She was the wife of Muhammad's adopted son. In other words, his daughter-in-law. Muhammad used tricks by inventing a false message from Allah and forcing his son to divorce his wife so that he could marry her himself. 8th, Juwayriya bint al-Haris. 9th, Safiya bint Huyai. she was a 17-year-old Jewish girl, Muhammad killed her father, her husband Kinana, and her brother all in the same day, and raped her that very night. 10th, Barra bint al-Harith, alias Maimuna. 11th, Habiba. Muhammad had sexual relations with almost whoever he wanted, thanks to the supposed interest that Allah had in his sexual life, who would give him orders to marry one and then another. Muhammad sexually exploited young girls, had many women as slaves, and countless wives. Muhammad never forgot to justify his dark sexual activities using Quran as a shield, saying that all of his marriages were for the good of humanity and was helping the widows. But in reality, it was Muhammad himself who used to kill the husbands of those women and later raping them and forcing them to marry him. Chapter 8. The Discrimination of Women. Muhammad was never able to pacify his hatred and anger in his heart against women. To him, it seemed as if all women were bad and cruel like his aunt. And because of that, he wanted to get revenge from all of them. He used to find the face of his aunt in the face of every woman. And that is why, through all of his writings and commands, he sentenced women to a very difficult life. Through his religious orders, discrimination against women is expressed in several ways, like the following. 1. Muslim man can be married to 4 women at the same time, but women do not have the right to protest or marry more than one man at a time. 2. Muhammad made it so easy for men to destroy the life of their women. For example, a Muslim man at any moment, without any warning, preparation, or legal process, can divorce his wife within some seconds, just by repeating the word talaq 3 times, which means divorce. But a woman doesn't have it that easy if she wants to divorce her husband. First of all, Islamic society doesn't allow her to do so. And if she still wants her freedom by being a rebel, she will have to go through a long and painful process. But later, after being divorced, she will not have the same respect in society as before. 3. Any religion allows men and women to pray together to God under the same roof. But in this case also, Muhammad discriminated against women. They are not allowed to pray in the mosques together with the men. This is because, according to Muhammad, women are second-class human beings and are not that close to Allah like the men are. That's the reason that women always have to pray separately from the men, the majority of them in their homes. 4. Muhammad did not give permission to women to enter the graveyard, despite the fact that if a woman died, she could be buried there. However, it was always the man who carried her body to the holy field for burial. 5. Women could not get close, speak to, or have a friendship with men who were not close family. But on the other hand, men had no such restriction. 6. Women always had to be covered. They were obligated to cover the faces and entire bodies.